The city of Indianapolis grieving tonight the loss of a hero, an IMPD officer killed in the line of duty today. These are live pictures from the east side of Indianapolis. This is the apartment complex where Officer Brianne Leith was shot and killed this afternoon. She lost her life responding to a domestic violence call. Officers still there on the scene investigating it. A suspect is now in custody. As we continue to cover this tragic story today, we've got Emily Longnecker. She was at the news conference that just wrapped up a couple of minutes ago, where the chief and the mayor talked about, and Emily, that was really emotional out there at Eskenazi, wasn't it?
It was, Scott. It was just a somber and terrible afternoon. City leaders arriving to the press conference wearing masks, reminding us of just the strange times that we're living in right now. Of course, taking off their masks to make this terrible announcement, the death of IMPD officer Brianne Leith, shot today while answering a domestic violence call. We're told that she had been on the force for 2.5 years. She is a mother. She wanted to be an officer, we're told, since she was a little girl. She's also a veteran, a part of the Army National Guard, a graduate of Southport High School. We're also told she comes from a family of great public service. Her mother, a longtime 911 operator. Her dad, a Marion County Sheriff's deputy right now. The chief called her a kind and loving officer, an example of the kind of officer we want on the force. The mayor reminding the public that she was a true hero. Here's what else he had to say.
This afternoon at 2:46 p.m., a call went out on the radio. There could be no doubt to any who heard it that danger lay on the other end of that address. For so many of us, danger is a thing to be avoided. Not so for Officer Brianne Leith. That's because rather than turn away, Officer Leith turned toward the danger. She heard the call, and she went bravely toward that which could do her harm. Because she knew if she didn't, harm may come to others.
And the mayor ordering all flags in the city tonight to be lowered to half staff. Now, Monument Circle and other buildings downtown were set to be lit up in blue to honor our public safety officials during this time, during the coronavirus pandemic. Of course, that lighting tonight just taking on a completely now even bigger meaning in light of this. The mayor calling Officer Leith a true hero, saying that she made the ultimate sacrifice for a grateful city. Scott?
Yeah, we are certainly grateful for Brianne Leith's life and her dedication to protecting all of us. Emily, thanks so much. We want to turn our attention now to the apartment complex where this deadly gunfire erupted this afternoon. Steve Jefferson has been there all afternoon. And Steve, it just reminds us how dangerous it is for these officers. They get a 911 call, they're told to go out there, they rush to the scene, and she lost her life today.
Yeah, that's right, Scott. Officer Leith responded to a call here at the apartment complex about domestic violence. When she got here, obviously she had no idea what she would face. Right now here at the apartment complex, the investigation, the crime scene is being processed here. We have learned just a few details about what Officer Leith faced when she got here. The call came from a woman here at the complex who said she needed help because she was in an altercation with a male subject. Now, when Officer Leith got here, she responded to their second-floor apartment. Now, from what we've been told, she never knew the danger that was on the other side of that door, because before she could even get to the apartment, shots rang out and she suffered some gunshot wounds that ended up leaving her fatally injured. Now, we also learned that during that gunfire, the woman who called for help also ended up hit by gunfire, both of them transported to the hospital. Now, we are also told that the person they believe responsible for the shooting, they have him in custody. Again, this was a domestic violence call that Officer Leith responded to. And ironically, she was just on the telephone, on a cell phone call with another officer who many officers tell me is her best friend. They always checked on each other, especially during this time where people are being told to stay at home, and all of the officers are responding to a lot more domestic violence calls. Officer Leith, she shared an apartment with another officer whom she was dating, and he worked a different shift, and he's obviously heartbroken as well. Her mother and her father, as Emily Longnecker mentioned, also public servants who work in law enforcement, her mother at the dispatch center, her father at the sheriff's department. This has been a very hard day for a lot of officers, but they are dedicated. They will continue to do their job as they celebrate the life of Officer Breanne Leith. Back to you in the studio.
Yeah, and Steve, as you and Emily both mentioned, I mean, she wanted to be a cop since she was a little girl. I mean, you said that this was her dream job, was to be a police officer, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. One of the things that Officer Leith was known for was her love for children as well. Anytime she had an opportunity to interact with children as a police officer, she did that. She made children feel very happy about police officers. She wanted to make sure that they had a good relationship, a good experience, a good interaction with a police officer, so that they wouldn't be afraid of the police, so that they would know that the police was here for them every day, answering those calls like the call she answered today that ended up costing her life.
Yeah. Steve, thank you for giving us more details about this hero that we lost today, Breanne Leith. Steve will be getting back to you throughout this newscast. Now, we do want to turn our attention